You're listening to Supervision with a Vision, where we discuss all things supervision. I'm your host, Sara, professional counselor, marriage and family therapist, play therapist, eating disorder specialist, and cookie lover, with my co-host, Heather, marriage and family therapist, certified Together in Texas counselor, a Texas transplant from California, and outdoor adventurer.
Hi, welcome to Supervision with a Vision. Following our last episode, we're going to continue to get a different look at Supervision with a Vision co-hosts. Today, I'm interviewing Sara. Are you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. So my first question for you is, did you have a book that made a great impact on your life?
I did. This book specifically had an impact on the way that I'm a counselor.
Yes. Okay.
So the book that I think continues to impact or change the way that I'm a counselor is Partners in Play.
Okay.
Terry Kottman's Adlerian approach to play therapy. I did not read that book as a new counselor, but probably, I don't know, maybe 5 to 7 years in. Mm-hmm. I really love the first chapter. Have you read it?
I've read it, but remind me, what about the first chapter struck you?
So the first chapter is really a narrative of Terry's experience becoming a play therapist.
Yes, okay.
And what I love about it is I think that it's relatable to lots of other counselors, but it felt really relatable to my experience learning to be a play therapist. Terry's story is that she was working on her master's degree and interested in play therapy and very new to the idea and working with clients in that way. Through her school, they asked her to start working with a child client.
Right.
And she felt kind of unprepared, but she felt like they gave her kind of a crash course. Okay, here's how to get started. She started doing play therapy with this child, and she said she just felt awkward or not herself, and that she tried to do what they were asking, the school was asking her to do, her professors, for a couple of sessions, and then she gradually branched off from that a little bit and felt like, I'm breaking the rules here. I'm doing something wrong.
This.
Yeah. Through that process, she learned who she was as a play therapist.
Right.
Early on as a play therapist, I did fit the model that I saw at school and saw in conferences and matched that mostly. And then one of my very first sites that I was at was a juvenile detention center.
Okay, so it played out real quick.
Right. Immediate example of, we're not going to have a Bobo.
Right. We don't have that
the
here.
Juvenile detention center with these teenage boys who are locked up, really. It was a high acuity, that's not what they call a detention center, but high intensity clientele. And so I still wanted to be a play therapist, but I had to figure out how to be my kind of play therapist.
Right.
And also fit the kinds of clients that I was trying to work with.
In that environment too, because you weren't going to have a play therapy room.
Right. So we had crayons and paper, which I had to take back up at the end of every time. And a couple of other things, but really what I ended up doing, I think that this was really empowering and helped me to see what it was to be a counselor on a different level. I had to use myself more and more as a tool within the counseling sessions, and I could still be playful, and it could still be play, but it had to look different. And I had to let myself be the kind of play therapist that I was going to be. I think it meant a lot when I read that to me as a counselor and my growth, but I also still use it now with other supervisees. Like, you don't have to be a Sara play therapist just because I'm your supervisor.
Right.
You can be the you play therapist.
Right. And find out what works best for each situation. I love it.
So I recommend supervisees read that, even if they're not leaning towards Adlerian play therapy.
Right.
Just for that.
Right. Just to see
benefit.
that someone can do it differently. I love it. So when in your career or schooling or education did you decide, hey, I want to go into therapy?
I think it was kind of organic. I lucked out because I did not have someone immediately pointing me in the right direction. I just kind of lucked out. In high school, I did a lot of service. I wouldn't call it service work. I did a lot of things like volunteering and helping.
Okay.
I didn't know this until I was out of high school. And in my high school, each team was required to do some volunteer work.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Right.
My coach just figured out basically the most convenient way to help us all get that done. We had the special education classes come to the pool and we taught them to swim.
Awesome.
I thought it was so much fun. And all of those kids who I otherwise would probably not have met were my friends. And we would wave and say hi to each other and, in passing in school. And so I had fun with them. I did other things where I was working with people and helping people. So that started that path. A lot of high school teachers of mine actually asked me where I was going to school to learn to be a teacher.
Oh.
And at the time I went, no, I don't want to do that. Ironically, now as a supervisor and teaching, I'm doing lots of teaching. But at the time I thought that meant in a classroom,
Right.
I don't know, grading papers or something.
Else.
Yeah, it didn't sound fun.
Right.
So I started my undergraduate, and I remember I told my advisor, I don't really know what I want to do. I was a pretty directionless 18-year-old. Mm-hmm. I wanted to hang out with my friends, drive around.
That's probably what you were supposed to do.
Right. So I told her I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was pretty good with people, and I had fun working with people. So I thought that was probably something good.
Yeah.
And she signed me up for a business communication class. And she said, this is a really good one. You're lucky that you got into this class because this is a really good teacher. And I remember it was like one of those big auditorium classes, which I didn't have very many of. She was a good teacher. It was a fun class. But I remember I walked out of that very first class and right back to my advisor's office, like directly, and said, nope.
So sorry, not for me.
That was fun. That was cool. She's a good teacher, but I don't want to take any more of those.
Right.
That's not
not what I want.
She asked me a couple more questions, and she set my schedule for the next semester. Mm-hmm. What did she? I think she must have included some kind of like helping professionals intro class.
Right. Okay.
And after that, she asked me like, okay, how was that one compared to the first time? And I went, yep, that's it.
That's better. That's a good fit.
So even then, after I finished my undergrad, I still didn't really know. It was kind of a shot in the dark. And I applied to a lot of different schools because I wanted to get farther away from my hometown.
Okay.
So I'm from Texas, North Texas, and I went to North Texas. And so when I applied for graduate schools, I applied to Madison, Wisconsin, University of Colorado at Denver, University of Alabama, University of South Florida, and one other one I can't remember.
Okay.
Intentionally far away.
Okay.
And I lucked out because I loved the program that I went to and I got great experience, and I went there because it was close to the beach.
Good choice.
That was it. So I lucked out.
You lucked out that it was the right program.
And I even think, compared to social work or psychology or a different similar helping profession, I feel like I landed in the right spot.
That's awesome.
Counseling was the right thing for me.
It just all came together in the perfect little format. All right. Our next question is there something in your office that you love?
Oh, okay. Maybe. I kind of have, it's funny, maybe. It's a weird thing.
Okay.
It says a lot about me, I guess. I am historically have not been great at keeping plants alive.
Okay.
But I right now have 2 real, actual live plants in my office.
And they're living.
They're still alive. One of them actually came from an important friend's funeral.
Okay.
So I am close to her family, and after the funeral, close enough that I was like helping clean up and, probably the last person to leave. And someone said, can you help us and take some plants? Because we now have this house full of flowers and plants and whatever.
Right.
And I took one that was, I thought, in kind of a cute little pot, and it's green. And I thought, man, maybe I'll be lucky and I'll keep this one alive.
And you did.
And it's been years now. And I think the funny, that's already kind of an interesting reason to love something in my office. But I talked to it.
Okay. It's your own little personal confidant.
It is. So my friend that passed away is Patty.
Okay.
And so I talked to the plant and I call it Patty. And Patty was, she's a helper also.
Okay.
So in life and now in death, I talk to Patty and they're exasperated together, and we go like, ugh, why is the healthcare system like this? Or she was a hospice nurse.
Oh wow.
And had a huge heart, and so
it's a cool
we
thing.
We have little conversations by ourselves sometimes.
All right, we're going to mix it up a bit with a different question.
Okay.
If you could hire help, and you can hire it for doing all of your laundry for the rest of your life, or a chef to cook every meal for the rest of your life, or someone to take care of landscaping no matter where you live, what would you choose?
This is funny. It's making me laugh while you're asking this, because all the things that you just listed, I kind of enjoy. I like doing laundry because I think it's fun to feel productive while I'm watching a movie and hanging out with my dog.
Okay.
And I like to cook.
Okay.
Even at the end of a busy day, I come home and cook dinner because it's a way that I unwind.
Okay.
And even though I'm admittedly not great at it, I do like to kind of dig around in the yard, and I have my little herbs and stuff that I grow.
I guess we'll change it then. What kind of help do you really need?
Well, I was going to say, I do, and this is why I think it's kind of funny that you would ask that. The thing that I would would pay someone to do if I just had a little,
Right.
extra cash laying around and could find
Right.
someone that would be the perfect match, would actually be to edit the podcast.
Oh, yes. That would be a lovely thing.
Sometimes it's time consuming, and I have to sit still and have a lot of focus to do it. Like I can't have other noises or distractions.
Right.
And so sometimes I just get worn. I just go like, I just
Right.
wish someone
I'm all done.
could help me with this.
Right. This needs to end. Okay. What was your last purchase?
Oh, well, okay. The last purchase, I am on this a bit of a minimalism kick. So I've been trying not to shop
Good.
too much. So the last thing I bought was probably boring, a container of glucosamine tablets for my dog.
Okay.
So
Those
Molly,
are important.
Molly is 13 and she's wearing out. Her little parts are wearing out.
Right.
Some days she moves a little slower. So she gets a little half of a glucosamine tablet every morning.
The constant caretaker.
Yeah. She's she's marching along at 13, but she has little aches and pains. And so she is kind of a high maintenance dog at this point. She gets melatonin, glucosamine, fluoride water, and antacid in her food every morning.
Okay.
Soft food, because otherwise she'll spit out the antacid. She
so she
licks
has
it
to
and
have the-
spits it out.
right.
It kind of needs a lot of
It's a
little
labor
upkeep.
of love. Okay. Is there some time in life that something surprised you?
A surprise. I'm really trying to give you an answer here. I don't know if I've ever had a true surprise.
Has anyone ever tried to surprise you and you figured it out?
No. Maybe I'm surrounded by people who don't appreciate surprises.
Maybe.
So they don't like them and they don't give them. Maybe
Right.
because they just don't not.
So now I have to know, do you ever want to be surprised?
Sure. I don't have a problem with surprises.
Okay. Do you have a most embarrassing moment that you would mind sharing with our listeners?
That's hard. I make mistakes and am goofy all the time. But I also think that I don't usually get that embarrassed about it. But okay, I can think of one that's kind of recent. I don't know if it would be my most embarrassing moment, but it definitely says a lot about me. How many years ago was this? Maybe 4 years ago?
Okay.
Must have been a very funny day. I typically work out in the morning. And this day, for some reason, I was working out in the middle of the day. In the middle of a class of maybe 5 or 6 people with one person leading the class. And the 5 or 6 of us are all busy doing things. And if I remember right, I was doing pretty well. I thought I was
Okay.
like having a pretty
Yeah.
good workout. So I
Right.
was excited about that. In the middle of the workout, someone stuck their head in and said, "Hey, does anyone here drive a..." whatever?"
Right.
And I thought, uh-oh, yes, that's
Yes,
me.
why?
Again, I was pretty focused and a split second of realizing maybe that was me she was talking about. And she said, "Because that car is rolling across the parking lot
Oh, gosh.
right now." So most of my life I have driven a standard transmission car and I left it in neutral and did not put
Your brake.
the brake on.
Alrighty.
So I was in all this workout gear, which was kind of hard to move in, and I ran out the front door and ran to my car, which is still moving and rolling backwards, and had to jump in and pull the emergency brake really quickly. I mean, luckily it didn't hit anything.
Right.
And it didn't go too far.
Okay.
It did roll till the middle of a pretty big shopping center
Right.
parking lot, which luckily was mostly empty. Yeah, so
That could be, I think that could be a most embarrassing moment.
coming back in to finish the workout was embarrassing.
Yeah. When you had to
Like,
revisit. Yes, that was me. Sorry, folks.
That was me. Yes, my car rolled like, I don't know, I would say 25 meters backwards. It's a
Okay,
pretty
that's
good
pretty
distance.
far.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think our last question today is going to be, what 3 items could you not live without?
Oh, I don't know. 3 things I couldn't live without. Dog.
Okay.
My dog. And I have to say dogs.
You can say dogs. That's
Yeah,
fine.
both of them. Molly and Shiner. Maybe, this is hard for me to pick, but I have a really awesome pillow right now
Okay.
that I think if I had to go back to not a non-awesome pillow,
You wouldn't sleep well.
it
and
would
you'd
be a
all-
rough
Okay.
transition.
All right.
Does that count as 3? Or do you
Nope.
want me to think of one more?
One more. You can do it.
Loose leaf tea.
Oh, yes. You do
So
love
I'm a
tea.
big tea drinker. I mean, I enjoy a tea bag, but I really, really like, and it feels like nice, soothing self-care and kind of indulgent when I get to brew a cup of tea with my little infuser with
Gotcha.
the loose leaf.
I love it. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks.
You've been listening to Supervision with a Vision. Head on over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Therapy Academy to join the conversation and get show notes. We'll be back next week with more Supervision with a Vision.